I've been collecting Lego since 1986, and specifically as an adult since 2006. Now, around that time in 2005, Lego created what was then known as the Lego Ambassador Program, and it was designed to take all these different adult groups of fans of Lego that build large displays and put on conventions and connect them with Lego employees and have somebody on the Lego side oversee it. It was a great way for Lego to provide information to them and adults to provide information to Lego. Now, 20 years later, I think there are some significant problems with this program. In fact, I'm going to identify 3 in this video. I'm also going to tell you 2 small solutions that I have for it. So let's dive in. Now, I do want to give you more background information. As I noted, in 2005, the Lego Ambassador Program was created, and in 2014, they rebranded it the Lego Ambassador Network, or LAN. Now, since COVID especially, and this existed I think before that, but I do want to mention that I think the evolution of the group has been, certainly in the public face of things, much more about influencers, meaning that individuals on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or the internet are getting Lego sets ahead of time. They're getting information about these sets, they're getting the press releases, the images, all that stuff well in advance with an embargo date of when they can release content based on those particular sets or themes. Now, I bring all of this background information up so that I can transition into the first problem that I have right now with this program, and that is there is a growing disconnect between these influencers and I think the rest of Lego consumers. Now, some of this deals with the nature of the program, the Lego Ambassador Network itself, and that is these people are getting free Lego sets. Now, not every single ambassador is getting the same number of sets. They're not getting every Lego set that is put out, but they do get some of the most in demand and this is important, most expensive sets. If you think about it, even if you get a dozen, 15, maybe 20 free Lego sets from Lego every single year, and these sets are the $200, $250, $300, $500 sets, that's a lot of really nice Lego sets that you don't have to pay for. And the rest of us do. And again, I have no problem with those influencers. Those influencers have spent years, in some cases decades, grinding out their brand, right? Their channel or their platform. So it's not against them as it is the reality that if you aren't buying Lego, if you're not spending a lot of money on it, if you're not spending $500 on Rivendell, it's hard for you to assess what's going on in the set that would make it worth $500. You don't have any skin in the game. You don't have any sort of commitment to the financial setback or cost of that set. And so a lot of other YouTubers, a lot of other people on the internet or on other social media platforms do buy those sets and are more connected with that. Furthermore, I've noticed this, and I'm not going to mention specific channels, but there are some influencers who used to build a lot of their own stuff that no longer do that. They actually just focus almost exclusively on information that Lego sends them, building their free sets, and reviewing them. And they can do that. That's their choice. I like some of those reviews, but I will also note that it does create a bit of a disconnect. You aren't as familiar with the product. You aren't buying any of it or very little of it. And you're not interacting with bricks beyond what Lego is producing. And so a lot of fans like to create things out of Lego bricks. They like to put things together in new ways, different combinations of pieces. And some of these influencers are losing their touch on that. I will say that when I'm looking at a review, I'm not going to be able to trust it as much if they haven't paid for the Lego set compared to somebody who has. Now, I will note, there's nothing in, as far as I know, in the agreement when you join the Lego Ambassador Network that says you have to give positive reviews of Lego sets. I've seen some reviews from LAN members who are critical, and very critical sometimes, of particular sets or themes. So that's not to say you can't trust them, but I do say it's hard to relate to them when it's like, oh, I really recommend Barrador because I enjoyed building it. Well, you didn't spend $460 on it. So I have a hard time really getting into that particular review. The second problem that I have is that I think the LAN is not fulfilling its original purpose. Now, context here matters. I mentioned that the LEGO Ambassador program was created in 2005. It is not a coincidence that it was created that year, because a year earlier, in 2004, LEGO unilaterally, without any warning, changed some of its colors. They went from old gray to bluish gray. They went from dark gray to dark bluish gray. They went from brown to reddish brown. And they didn't announce it at all. LEGO fans went to the stores, picked up new sets, opened them up, and realized this is a different color. And they were pretty upset. In fact, going back when I started getting back into LEGO in 2006 and reviewing what had happened in 2004, it was intense, the anger that people had for what LEGO had done without communicating it, without talking about it, without getting information from key fans. And so the LEGO Ambassador Network, I think, is supposed to serve as that conduit where LEGO might have an idea, they pitch it to people here, and they can get feedback from some of their most dedicated fans. I'm not sure LEGO's doing that. Now, I am not aware of the different forums that go on the LEGO Ambassador Network site. You have to be able to log in. I can't do that. But what I can say is that LEGO recently had a pretty big mess up when they had, in a survey to LEGO insiders, a question about getting rid of paper instructions. Now, LEGO released a statement afterwards saying, nope, we didn't intend to do this. We have no designs on getting rid of paper instructions. However, as somebody who has worked in survey research, who knows that survey design is important, that every question is in a survey for a reason, you don't just haphazardly toss something in there, that's a load of BS. And LEGO might get away with it, and I'm still gonna buy LEGO sets, but the reality is they should have known the blowback that they would get. In fact, the blowback was so severe that LEGO removed the survey link from their insiders site so that nobody could take the survey. It was certainly giving them some undesirable results. They should have known. And it wouldn't have been hard if they were using the LEGO Ambassador Network the way it was supposed to be used. All they had to do was ask somebody, what do you think? What are you hearing from people that comment on your videos? What are you hearing from people that post on Instagram? What if you just asked that question in a video and saw what the comments were? Instead, LEGO decided to have the question in the survey, and then all these members of the LEGO online community picked up on it, including Brickset and others, that then was like, what was this? What's going on with this? And then the blowback ensued. So clearly, they're not going to. I don't know if it was one small part of LEGO that was doing this, if this was how serious this was, but it clearly was designed to happen. And again, it wouldn't have been hard. It was such an avoidable problem, and yet they did it anyway, which leads me to believe that they're not using ambassadors to the fullest extent that they possibly can. At the same time, there's another component, informational problem that arises with the LEGO Ambassador Network, and that is LEGO leaks. Now, I like LEGO leaks. I like leaks because it tells me what's coming down the road in terms of set releases. I like knowing what's coming up because we use channel revenue to buy LEGO. We try to be revenue neutral in terms of how much we're spending so that we don't go over how much we have, so that we don't take it out our normal budget. And so knowing what's happening and how much sets are going to cost and which sets are coming out helps us plan. But LEGO clearly has an incentive to not have leaks. They don't want their competitors to be able to undercut them or get something out quickly before LEGO announces it. They want to be able to control the narrative. They want to be able to have momentum building for a particular set up through its release. I get all of that. And so the fact is, LEGO has a leak problem. And I'm not so sure it's a coincidence that when LEGO brings a bunch of influencers to Billund, Denmark a couple of weeks ago, that we just happened to get a large number of leaks. If you go on LEGO leaks on Reddit, if you go to hashtag LEGO leaks on Instagram, you will see all of these leaks. There are other places where you can find them. And again, correlation is not causation. I don't have any evidence that specific LAN members are leaking it, but somebody is. And LEGO is giving information to a lot of people ahead of time and early. And some of that information is getting out. Now, I will also say, it's clear that LEGO has a policy for people who leak. For instance, I know there were 2 YouTube channels about a year ago that accidentally revealed some information about upcoming LEGO sets before the embargo date was lifted. Both of those individuals put, mea culpa videos on their YouTube channel and talked about how they were on a 6-month probationary period from LEGO where they were not receiving LEGO sets ahead of time. They were not receiving the information before the rest of us would see it. So there are consequences for certainly accidental, and I'm guessing on purpose, intentional leaks are going to have more severe consequences. So the third problem I want to mention deals more with the small YouTube channels. Now, we've been asked a couple of times during our Off the Cuff series, as well as in some of our comments, what's it like having a small LEGO YouTube channel? And I would say it's fun, it's a blast, it's a grind, we do a lot of work on it, but the reality is, we know that certain people are going to have information about LEGO sets. They're going to have the actual LEGO sets in their hands, building them and getting ready for the reviews well in advance of the announcement date. We know, for instance, that the X Mansion is going to be announced most likely on October 17th coming up in this upcoming week. We know that there's going to be the LEGO Botanical Garden set coming out. We don't know the images yet. We don't know all of the information, but that's going to be out there November 1st. We know that the modular is coming for 2025, and there are certain rumors about that. There are people right now who have those sets or are about to get those sets in their hands. They're not going to comment on it, but they have it. And the reality is that the small YouTube channels have to wait for that information to become public before we can put anything together. We have to rely on either leaks or LEGO itself as a company to give us that information, whereas people in the LEGO Ambassador Network have that given to them ahead of time. So they have what I call a first mover advantage. They have the information, they put it out there first, the rest of us react, and maybe to carry the metaphor forward, we get the table scraps. Like, we are getting what's left over, or people that are interested in seeing other takes or independent takes on LEGO sets and themes watching our videos. I'll give you an example of how this works. About 8 months ago in February, Brickset accidentally released images in the press release of the medieval town square a day before it was supposed to. And I happened to be on Brickset right when they posted that. I downloaded the images, and then within minutes, Brickset was like, nope, not, we're pulling the article down, we're pulling all the pictures off, our bad, sorry LEGO. Well, I already had them. And so after I got home from work, put together a video, a detailed breakdown of the medieval town square, put it out there around midnight, and for about 9 hours, it had no competition. None of the LEGO Ambassador Network people, no one else was making content or releasing content on that set. And it was our most watched video by far until a month ago. And so the reality is, these LEGO Ambassador Network members, these influencers, have all of this information ahead of time. It does give them a significant advantage over smaller YouTube channels. Now, I'm not going to complain, again, because these individuals have spent a long time grinding to get where they're at. But it does mean that we have to think about how we interact with content, how we create content differently. We used to do some speed builds because we knew that sometimes sets would come out, no one else had them, we got the speed build out there, we would get more views and subscribers. We don't really do that anymore. And I'm kind of glad, because I enjoy building when it's not part of a speed build, but it affects what we do. I know that if we review a set, chances are that review isn't going to get as many views as other analysis type videos do, because a bunch of people have had the opportunity to watch reviews of those sets over the last couple of weeks before ours comes out. And so it's very much a part of our process of thinking about how do we structure content, knowing that there are people out there that are going to get the main bulk of views. And so it's just the reality we live in. So it's not a complaint as it is just letting you understand how the LEGO Ambassador Network and how these influencers connected to LEGO do influence other people, in as much as growing our channel and getting views and getting information out there that is unique, that is interesting. And I mean, I think we do a pretty good job because we're smart and we take a lot of thought into and put a lot of thought into our videos, but it's still hard. So what are my solutions? I have 2 solutions, as I mentioned earlier. The first one is for LEGO, the second one is for like the rest of us. The first solution Lego, get back to what the LAN was designed for. I don't mind if you send stuff to influencers ahead of time. What I do mind is that you need to be able to listen to feedback from some of your core consumers. And if that's not happening, as evidenced by the whole paper instructions switch, as evidenced by the fact that there are still some colors of Lego that are easily discolored under UV rays, by the fact that some colors like dark red and yellow occasionally are translucent and the quality is problematic, as evidenced by the fact that we have these injection mold points on certain bricks in the wrong place that just don't make sense, the fact that we have minifig printing that is bleeding through on key minifigs. These things should be fixed. They should be getting feedback, and I know they're getting it through customer service, but are they getting that information from people in the Lego Ambassador Network? And are they able to connect and converse about what's going on with that? Because I'm not hearing any real updates from these ambassadors. And think about what an ambassador is. It's about communication. Lego to ambassadors, ambassadors to fans, fans to ambassadors, ambassadors to Lego. That's the model. And I'm not sure it's happening that way. So I think Lego needs to get back to how it was originally conceived. The second solution is for us. I would recommend, and I know a lot of you do this already because you're watching this video, some dude in his early 40s ranting about people getting free Lego and what that program has become. Watch and like the videos of people that do independent reviews and content. And it doesn't have to be our channel, but go to a small Lego YouTube channel and subscribe. It means a lot. I can tell you, as somebody who had just crossed over 7,000 subscribers, I love that, and it's great, and we're growing slowly but surely. But I can tell you that some of those channels out there, if you're watching them and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It means a lot. It means a lot when you like our videos because we count the number of likes that we get as opposed to just seeing this massive number of likes. That means something to us when people watch, when people like, and when people subscribe. So do some of the small Lego YouTube channels a favor and subscribe. It doesn't have to be this channel, although we'd be honored if you did, but find one out there, go ahead, check out their content, like it, and watch more of that. Thanks for watching and your patience as I went on this little rant. Always remember to keep building together.